Star versus the Forces of Evil, and Star Marco's Guide to Mastering Every Dimension belong to daron, nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with its creation. Please go support Star versus the Force of Evil and go buy this book. Hello everybody, welcome back, and now it's time for Chapter 2, Meet the Crew. Jana Banana. Jana's the best. She's into witchy stuff, which isn't exactly what I do, but she thinks it's the same, so I don't want to rain on her carnival. No, it's parade. Rain on her parade, says Marco. Anyway, says Star, sometimes I come home from school and she's already there, eating our food, which just goes to show you how at home she feels at the Diaz's. Oh boy, says Marco. She likes black magic, daggers, did clown seances, the night street wizards, and the color pink. She battles the patriarchy, loves to eat our food, says Marco, and once dated an all-talking skeleton. Here's the picture. She also flirts with me and makes creepy comments about calling her after my divorce, says Marco. Oh, Marco, it sounds like you're a bit jealous of her real crush, 19th century poet John Keats. I have no idea what to say about that, says Marco. Jana's spirit animal is a snake eating its own tail. Jana's top tips for chillaxing with the occult. 1. Take every opportunity you can to raise the dead, because we all know they're not going to raise themselves. And if you find a dead guy who does, marry him. He's a keeper. 2. Make every seance count by really getting to know your spirit guide. They're not just guides, they're ghosts who could come poltergeists if you're not nice to them. But that could be all right, too, you know? Sometimes graves are for sleeping. Practice for the big sleep by enjoying all the little sleeps in the hole in the ground. Tom Lucifer. Note to self, remember to delete Tom's number off my mirror. Tom's the prince of the underworld, the son of the big guy. He's got some anger issues and I couldn't get past. It's really a lot to get into, but we broke up, and he won't take no for an answer. Since we're both royalty, there's sort of this pressure for us to be together, but I want to take my time. Besides, I don't know what I want, you know? Sometimes I can't tell if he's hot or if it's just that... because all of the fire. One time I broke open the box of lost souls in his bedroom and one of the souls flew up my nose and I talked backwards and crawled around like a crab for about 8 hours until it went away. Lawler skates. Tom's favorite ways to chill. 1. Rigorous exercise. 2. Crushing Marco at ping pong. He cheats, says Marco. 3. Having minions do his bidding. 4. Listen to Love Sentence on his vintage 5-disc CD player. I can confirm this. I've seen it in action, says Marco. Tom's spirit animal is a white tiger. Brittany Wong. Brittany may be head cheerleader, but when I booby-trapped the football field, she was pretty unprepared to be eaten by a magical dragon. I ended up saving her life, and to thank me, she invited me and Marco to her birthday party on a bus. I felt so bad because once we got to the party, I could see all the guests were totally bored, and it ended up being okay. I was able to entertain everybody and save Brittany the embarrassment of putting on a bad party. I guess she sort of owes me, but who's keeping track, you know? It's like I always say, pay it forward. You destroyed the party bus, says Marco. Brittany's personal magic number is 1, which is a perfect fit because I always hear her whispering, I'm number 1, under her breath, and she's walking down the hall at school, and there is only one of her, so I guess it's pretty good mantra. Brittany's spirit animal is a flying pig. Brittany's favorite after-school activities: 1. Doing karaoke alone in the room in front of her mirror. 2. Choreographing Rudy shaking dance moves for the cheerleading team. And 3. Chairing the spirit committee with the iron fist. Jackie Lynn Thomas. Jackie's pretty rad. She's easygoing and surprisingly alert for someone who looks like she just woke up. I'd hang out with her more if Marco wasn't so nervous around her. Hey! Well, she is your crush. No big secret there, says Marco. Remember the time she came to our house for a sleepover and you told everyone how she was your crush to keep that demon box thingy from killing us? Sigh. She skates and she knows a lot about history. So I broke her skateboard. Why do you have to keep bringing it up? Says Marco. 3 reasons why Jackie Lynn is super cool. 1, she has an awesome blue streak in her hair. 2, she only shops at charity thrift stores with the word salvation in their names. It's her way of giving back, says Marco. 3, the blue streak in her hair is natural. Jackie Lynn's spirit animal is a basket full of kittens. Oscar Greason. I can barely get words out to describe my feelings for Oscar. Sometimes when the wind is just so, his hair blows back from his eyes and I can see the soul of a tortured artist behind them. He's got a record. He also makes music. He converted his car into a live/workspace to take his music career on the road. One of his songs is called Wish Upon a Car. And I think it's secretly about me, but he's such a sensitive soul that he doesn't want to reveal his true feelings. Oscar's loves. 1, meatball subs with chips because they're extra crunchy. 2, Gene the Ferret. 3, making music in his car. 4, me, Star Butterfly. A girl can dream. 5, his guitar. If Oscar was an animal, he'd be a sloth. Oscar's top 3 band names. 1, Mysterious Sonograms. 2, Oratory Apocalypse. And 3, Solitary Instructions. Glossaryck! And heads up, everyone, I have a really hard time. I can't really pronounce a couple of things in this part because he's Glossaryck. That's why. Okay. Glossaryck. Ooh, Glossaryck. So much to say about this little blue magic man about whom I know so little about. Grammar check, says Marco. Glossaryck lives in my family spellbook. Actually, I'm not sure he's technically alive, but he does something in there. According to my mom, he's supposed to train me, but I never quite experienced that. He usually just eats, confuses me, eats, makes Marco mad, eats, then sleeps. Looks about right, says Marco. According to my family history, he's trained all the queens of Muni, going back as far as they've been recorded. I guess that makes him super old. He always has cheese curl fingers, so there are these little orange spots all over my spellbook. Are you going to say the thing, says Marco? What thing? About how Ludo stole your book and Glossaryck went with it, says Marco. No one wants to hear about that, hee. But yeah, he's gone. My mom's gonna get him back. Still, no matter how weird he was, everything he did seemed to be for a reason. I wonder whether or not there's a reason he's gone now. 7 fancy things you didn't know about Glossaryck. 1, he has 3 sisters and 1 brother. Table, Kanta, Index, Ika, Chapdera, and Foot Natork. 2, his search for the perfect chip has led him to open 4787901 bags of cornitos. 3, he sleeps in my spellbook, which sort of makes it a bed, which sort of makes it gross. 4, he's trained all the queens of Muni, but he says I'm his favorite student. 5, his favorite flavor of pudding is peanut butter banana. 6, he sleeps with a camouflage whoopee named Fred. 7, most of these probably aren't true because he never tells me anything about him and I made them all up. Miss Skullnick. Skullsy teaches math at Echo Creek Academy, which is not to say I have learned any math. When I first met her, she was just a math teacher lady, but I interbettered her life by converting her into a math teacher troll lady. Not a word star. You could look at it like I turned her into a troll, but I like to say I turned her on to a troll. Look, she is better off as a troll, okay? Sheesh. Whatever helps you sleep at night, says Marco. 3 things trolls have in common with strip mall dojos. 1, they both smell like feet. What, says Marco? 2, they both eat children. What, says Marco? 3, they both steal your money and give you nothing back in return. That's not true, says Marco. I got my red belt from a strip mall dojo. No, Marco, you got your red belt from a video store. Sensei. Hey, Marco, does Sensei have a name? Yeah, it's Sensei. I thought Sensei was Japanese for teacher. No, Sensei means person born before another. So then his name is not Sensei? We call him Sensei out of respect. But, I mean, he learned karate from some videotapes? So, I mean, why not just call him Cody? Because his name is Brantley? 3 things Marco and Sensei have in common. 1, they both graduated middle school. 2, they're both red belts. 3, neither of them has a driver's license. Alfonso and Ferguson. When I met these, 2 guys, it was when I first arrived in Echo Creek, and they each, separately had their own charming and awkward way of welcoming me. First, I confused them for each other, but then I realized Ferguson is the one with the face on his stomach, and Alfonso is the one with glasses. And then they got turned into a centaur. And it's not my fault. Well, technically it is my fault because they were combined on a field trip that I took them on, but I didn't force them to become one. You can lead a centaur to water, but you can't make him mutate into Alfonso and Ferguson / horse thing. I did, however, separate them. It just got to be too weird. Thing is, now they keep asking me to put them back together. Getting to know your neighbor the centaur. If you encountered a centaur in the wild, you might be confused. Do you shake his hand like a man, or do you rub his nose like a horse? Let's get the facts so that when you encounter a centaur, you can avoid any awkward cultural misunderstandings. All centaurs are different, but most prefer a handshake as the first form of contact. However, when approaching a centaur from behind, touch him above the tail, then walk around his head with your hand brushing along the side of his body so he knows you are coming. If a centaur you've previously met doesn't seem to recognize you, he may ask to smell your breath. Don't be offended by this, as centaur's memories are strongly linked to his sense of smell. It's important to comply with his requests, so just blow into his nose. Otherwise, if he sees you as a stranger, he may trample you and seize any children or gems you have with you and keep them for his own. Not sure what to bring to a centaur party? You should feel comfortable bringing a simple side dish. An oat and carrot casserole is best. Avoid anything with gelatin, as gelatin is commonly made from horse hooves and is seen as a distasteful item to serve to a centaur, obviously. A centaur's bathroom won't have some of the finery you may be accustomed to in your castle. Often, the bathroom in a centaur's home will just be some stone room with hay on the floor. You may see this and think this is sort of like all the other rooms in a centaur's house. Not exactly. The hay on the floors of a centaur's bathroom is not like the furniture hay in the living room. It is actually straw and is meant for exactly what you think it's meant for. So do your business quickly and try to leave the room as you found it. You know, says Star, now that I've read this, I'm even more convinced that separating them was the right thing to do. Well, the right thing would have been to keep them from becoming a centaur, says Marco. Point Marco, says Star. Jeremy Birnbaum. Well, what to say about Jeremy here? Oh, allow me, says Marco. Jeremy is a really bad little brat boy who thinks he's better than everyone because his parents buy him whatever he wants. He's 8 years old, Marco, and he cheats at dojo. Sorta how you cheated when you fought him with your monster arm. That's different. Doesn't matter. He's a jerk and he ruins karate time with Sensei. Jeremy's spirit animal is a It's scratched out. Money can't buy you a spirit animal, Jeremy, says Marco. Fun fact, Jeremy hates groundhogs because they remind him of his fear of shadows. Kelly, and sometimes Tad when they haven't broken up. Kelly, and sometimes Tad when they haven't broken up, is one of my best friends from my club days at the Bounce Lounge. Tad is her on and off boyfriend who fits perfectly into her hair. Or maybe he is her hair. I'm not always sure where one ends and the other begins. I guess that means it's true love. And that is the end of Chapter 2, Meet the Crew. So, in this chapter, we learned all about these characters. And of course, at the moment, this book does take place after Bon Bon the Birthday Clown. And I guess Star still doesn't really like Tom. At least this page makes it seem like she doesn't like Tom. And so, I would have liked to hear some nice things about Tom in this page, but whatever. We learn a nice amount about Jana. Brittany, we learned some sort of made-up things about Glossaryck, but then he does talk about his siblings in the Magical Book of Spells, if you've seen and read that. And one of them is named Indexica, which, if you remember the Princess Quasar caterpillar in Season 4, Princess Quasar, her little Glossaryck-like being is named either Indexia, or maybe her name is Indexica, and we just misheard it, which that would be cool if that was his sister. We learned a bit about Jackie, and this picture of her is so pretty. Star talked about Oscar. We talked about Miss Skullnick and Sensei, and I don't know, I feel like this page, how Star's talking, three things trolls have in common with strip mall dojos, that makes me feel like Star wanted to ship Skullnick and Sensei. And well, Sensei is Sensei, that's his chapter. Alfonso and Ferguson, and all about Centaurs. I didn't really like reading that page. We learned about Jeremy, and just a tiny bit about Kelly. Kelly's chapter, little page, wasn't all that much. It was basically stuff we already knew, and Star talking about she doesn't know what's up with Tad. So I hope you enjoyed listening to this chapter, and you enjoyed it. And the next chapter we'll be reading is Map of the Dimensions. Thanks for listening, everybody. Star vs. the Forces of Evil and the Guide to Mastering Every Dimension belongs to Daron, nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with its creation. Please go support Star vs. the Forces of Evil and go buy this book. Bye!